Welcome back to Investing Talk podcast. Today, we're plunging into a question many of you have been curious about. Is Amazon a good time to buy right now? We've pulled together a comprehensive stack of recent analysis to help us, cut through the noise and give you the clearest picture possible. Our mission today, well, we're going to put on our detective hats, really unpack Amazon's current standing. We'll look at its core businesses, dig into the financial numbers, and then try to peer into the future, see what catalysts and risks lie ahead. By the end of this, we want you to feel truly well informed, ready to make sense of the whole Amazon story. And before we jump in, if you find value in these insights, please consider hitting that subscribe button, leaving us a like, maybe drop a comment with your thoughts. And if you're feeling generous, you can even buy us a coffee. It genuinely helps us keep these deep dives coming. Okay, let's get into it. Amazon. Everyone knows the name, but what's truly driving its business and financial health under the hood right now? What are the fundamental strengths?
Right. Well, what's really fascinating here is just how consistently Amazon manages to demonstrate these structural advantages. These are those built-in strengths that make it incredibly hard for competitors to, catch up. If you look at the past 5 years, its revenue has grown at a compound annual growth rate, or TAGR, of roughly 13%.
13% CAGR. Okay. And
Yeah.
that's despite its size.
Exactly. Even with that slight slump back in 2022, it just shows this relentless expansion, even at massive scale. And digging into the financials, 2024 saw their operating margin rebound quite nicely, up to 10.7%.
And that's profit from core operations, right?
Precisely. And that rebound was largely thanks to some impressive efficiency programs they put in place. They more than offset rising wage inflation. But maybe even more important for investors is the free cash flow, or FCF. That inflected back positive. We're talking $33 billion positive in 2024.
Wow, that's a big swing after those heavy spending years.
It really is. After pouring money into fulfillment centers, AI chips, now they're generating serious cash again. And the balance sheet still looks rock solid. About $101 billion in cash versus $131 billion total debt. So their net leverage is below 0.5. Very, very little debt compared to cash. Gives them huge flexibility.
That financial picture sounds incredibly healthy, especially that free cash flow rebound. But how does that translate specifically into what we're seeing in the core businesses, like AWS, advertising, retail?
Well, AWS, Amazon Web Services, it's still the undisputed king of cloud, holds commanding 31% market share. However, and this is a subtle but critical insight, its growth at 17% year over year in Q1 2025 is actually tracking a bit below Microsoft Azure.
Interesting. So competition heating up there.
Definitely. It's not a disaster, but it's a clear signal the cloud wars are intense, especially for AI workloads. Amazon needs to keep pushing to maintain dominance there.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, advertising is, well, it's Amazon's fastest growing segment. And high margin, too. Saw a 19% year-over-year increase to nearly $14 billion in Q1. They're really monetizing that massive audience effectively.
And retail, with all the competition talk.
Yeah, despite that, their sheer scale, that incredibly sticky Prime ecosystem, and the logistics moat, it's huge. They've now got an astonishing 1 million robots deployed in their fulfillment network.
1 million. Okay.
Yeah, that's just incredibly difficult, maybe impossible for anyone else to replicate at that scale.
That truly paints a picture of operational strength. But, a great business isn't always a great stock if the price isn't right. So let's talk valuation. How does Amazon's current stock price stack up? Is it reflecting potential, or is it already priced for, well, perfection?
Yeah, this is where it gets more nuanced. Amazon's forward price to earnings, or PE, ratio sits at 36.0.
Okay, 36. And the market average is?
The broader S&P 500's PE is around 22.6. So Amazon's is definitely higher, maybe 20–30% above the market. Suggests high expectations. Okay. But if you compare it to its large cap internet peers, think Alphabet, Meta Amazon's valuation is generally in line. Their average PE is usually somewhere between 29 and 32.
Ah, okay. So expensive relative to the market, but normal for its peer group.
Pretty much, yeah. It's not cheap in an absolute sense, but not an outlier within its specific competitive set. And other metrics kind of tell a similar story. Its PEG ratio, price earnings to growth factors and expected earnings growth. Based on an estimated 18% EPS CGR from 25 to 27, its PEG is 2.0.
And how does that compare?
Very similar to both the S&P 500 and its peer average. Again, suggesting it's not wildly overvalued given its growth prospects. Price to sales, TTM, is 3.7. Price to book is 7.8. Both higher than the S&P, but again, comparable to internet peers. And if you run a simple discounted cash flow, a DCF model, using standard assumptions like a 10% WACC and maybe 8% terminal FCF growth, it values shares somewhere in the $240–250 range.
Which lines up pretty closely with Wall Street estimates.
Exactly. The median analyst target is around $246. So the model supports the current thinking, more or less.
So it sounds like while it's not exactly a screaming bargain, maybe not pennies on the dollar, it's not wildly overvalued either, especially for its sector. Okay, beyond the fundamentals and valuation, what's the market itself telling us? Any signals from the charts or overall investor sentiment?
From a technical angle, looking at the charts, Amazon closed at $223.04 on July 3rd. It's seen what's called a golden cross hold since February. That's generally a bullish signal.
Where the short-term average crosses above the long term.
That's the one. The 50-day moving average crossed above the 200-day. And that rising 50-day, currently around $204.09, is acting as short-term support, very close to the 200-day at $205.07. The nearest resistance, sort of a ceiling, looks to be around that February all-time high of $235. A solid break above that could potentially target $250.
And it's quite volatile, right?
It is. Its beta is about 1.3, meaning it tends to move about 30% more than the overall market. Because of that, for shorter-term trades, like swing trades, a 10% trailing stop is often suggested, just for risk management.
Got it. And sentiment. What are analysts and retail investors thinking?
Well, analyst sentiment is overwhelmingly buy. It's quite striking. 46 buy ratings, only 2 holds, and 0 sells.
Wow. 0 sells.
Yeah, and that median 12-month price target's $246, as we mentioned. Retail sentiment, looking at places like X and Reddit, also tilted pretty bullish after the recent Prime Day previews. Seems like folks see that as a positive catalyst, though it's worth repeating, there's always that kind of persistent regulatory overhang that tempers some enthusiasm.
Okay, numbers, charts. Now let's talk about the real-world stuff, the catalysts or headwinds that could really shift the story. What's been in the news and what's coming up?
On the positive side, Prime Day is happening very soon, July 8th to 11th. It's expected to set a new gross merchandise volume record. A strong Prime Day usually adds, maybe 1% to 1.5% to Amazon's Q3 revenue, so that's a near-term boost.
And technology developments.
Yeah, we're looking forward to the launch of their Deep Fleet AI model. It's projected to improve fulfillment efficiency by about 10%. That's not just cost savings. It frees up capacity for expanding same-day delivery, which is a huge competitive edge. And there's actually been some potentially positive news on the FTC antitrust front. Recent filings suggest the case focus has narrowed a bit.
Meaning
The worst-case scenario, like a forced breakup, might be slightly less likely than previously feared, though it's still a major overhang.
Okay, but there are negatives too, right? You mentioned the overhang.
Oh, definitely. That FTC suit is ongoing. And the judge recently refused Amazon's motion to dismiss it. That means the whole discovery process, gathering information, drags on into 2026. It's lengthy and distracting. Plus, the FTC has even accused Amazon of withholding documents, which just prolongs things and creates negative headlines.
And the insider selling.
Right. Founder Jeff Bezos sold a big chunk, $737 million worth of stock, in July. And there are scheduled pre-planned 10b5-1 sales by the CEO and CFO through the end of the year. While these are often normal diversification, large sales, especially by the founder, can sometimes make the market a bit nervous.
So a real mixed bag then. Significant tailwinds, significant headwinds. What specific dates or events should investors be watching on the calendar?
Key dates. Well, Q2 earnings around July 25th. The street will be laser-focused on AWS margins and ad growth. Targets around 20% and 18% growth, respectively. The Prime Day sales update in mid-July is also crucial for gauging consumer health.
Anything longer term?
Looking further out, the second half of 2025 could see the launch of Project Nova. That's a new multimodal AI model. If successful, it could really accelerate cloud GPU uptake in AWS, boosting that growth again. And of course, those FTC trial milestones through 2025-26 are significant. Any settlement removes headline risk, but might involve concessions.
And the macro environment still matters.
Always. U.S. consumer health, the Fed's interest rate decisions, dollar strength. Since about 20% of Amazon's revenue is ex-U.S., these macro factors definitely play a role.
We've touched on risks, but let's really zero in. Beyond the FTC suit, what other specific risks could impact an Amazon investment?
Right. Beyond the FTC lawsuit itself, regulatory risks could also mean things like impose caps on marketplace fees they charge sellers, or maybe force changes to their website UI. Competitively, while AWS is dominant, we mentioned Azure and Google Cloud are gaining share, especially in generative AI. And in retail, newer players like Temu and TikTok Shop are definitely nibbling away at the low-ticket e-commerce market in the U.S. They're forcing Amazon to compete harder on those smaller items.
What about risks from their own operations or financial decisions?
Well, from an execution standpoint, they're continuing to spend heavily on capital expenditures for data center AI chips. That's crucial for future growth. But that spending could compress free cash flow in the near term, especially if the economy slows down. We also need to consider that ongoing insider selling we discussed and dilution from equity compensation.
Explain dilution quickly.
Sure, it's when a company issues new shares, often to employees as part of their pay. Amazon does about $18 billion worth per year. This increases the total number of shares, so each existing share represents a slightly smaller piece of the company, potentially pressuring per-share metrics like earnings per share.
Got it. And broader market risks.
Yeah, the big ones are tech multiple compression. If investors suddenly become less willing to pay high prices for tech stocks, maybe because interest rates rise significantly, say 10-year yields go above 5%, and of course the risk of a recession, which would likely dampen consumer spending across the board.
Okay, so after this incredibly comprehensive deep dive, weighing the strong fundamentals, the, let's say, fair valuation, the technicals, the news, the catalysts, and all those risks, what's the composite verdict? Is Amazon a buy right now?
Our composite score puts Amazon at a 7 out of 10.
A 7 out of 10, so positive but not a table pounder.
Exactly. We rate it as an attractive compounder, a company likely to grow earnings consistently over time, but at a fair, not cheap price. The bottom line really remains. Amazon has huge structural advantages. It's an earnings compounder. But that 36x forward PE, it already reflects or discounts a lot of the expected near-term AI and advertising upside.
What's holding it back from an 8 or 9?
Primarily that valuation and the persistent regulatory overhang. The market seems to have already priced in a good chunk of the good news. Now for traders, the stock's price action, the tape, looks constructive, looks positive as long as it stays above $210 or so. For long-term investors, incremental buying on pullbacks, maybe towards that 200-day average, around $205, $210, probably offers the best risk-reward, lets you get it at a slightly better price.
And can you break that down? Specific, actionable takeaways for different types of investors, short-term versus long-term.
Sure, for long-term investors, thinking beyond, say, 2 years, the advice is generally to accumulate on weakness. The big secular trends, AI, advertising, logistics, seem likely to outweigh that antitrust drag over the long haul. For short-term investors, looking maybe 3 to 6 months out, momentum appears favorable right now. This is just maybe trading within that $210, $235 channel, especially going into the Q2 earnings.
Any specific price levels to watch for entry or exit?
Well, the suggested entry zone if you're looking to start a position might be between $210 and $218. That's near the rising 200-day average and a prior breakout level, offering decent technical support. A potential stop loss, maybe around $199. That's roughly 10% below entry and below a key chart gap from February.
And upside targets?
First target could be $250. That lines up with the street median target and offers about 12% upside from recent levels. A stretch target, if things go really well, especially with AWS reaccelerating, maybe $275 is possible down the line. And for long-only investors who just want to build a position over time, one strategy is to leg in, meaning buy in stages. Maybe buy a bit every time the stock drops 5% below $220, for example. It averages out your cost and helps manage the risk from any sudden negative regulatory headlines.
Wow. That was a truly comprehensive look into Amazon. We've covered everything from revenue drivers and valuation to technicals, news, catalysts, and risks.
Yeah, and as you, the listener, consider all these insights, maybe think about that delicate balance, right, between a company's undeniable market dominance and the constant pressure from regulation and competition. How do you weigh those powerful, sometimes conflicting forces when you're making your own investment decisions?
Yeah.
It's quite the balancing act.
Absolutely. We really hope this deep dive helps you feel more informed, more confident in your understanding of Amazon right now. Remember, our goal is to provide you with knowledge. Always do your own research and due diligence. Thank you so much for joining us for another in-depth discussion. We'll be back soon with more insights on the topics that matter most to you. Until then, happy investing.